Why not prove that you're natural, or at least try? I mean, you don't have to. You have the right to be private and so on. But if you post that you're natural, expect to be criticized when you don't look natural. He doesn't look natural, but is he? Coach Greg in today's video, perhaps the most obvious natty or not of all. Got this guy, goes by the name of Prosper Fitness. If you haven't seen this guy, he's that shredded mountain of a man with the crazy looking beard. Bro is sexier than last time, but the question remains, is he in fact natural? And so, looking through his account, it literally says lifetime natural. And so what do you think this guy does? Well, of course he offers online coaching. And so I'm sure you're thinking whether or not this guy chooses to use steroids and so on, hey, that's on him. But if he somehow lies to his clients and tries to coach them, then that's a different story. Let's examine his physique. I mean, after all, why would we even make the video? I mean, does he in fact look like he's not natural? I got this notification. He's training with Mike Thurston, Mr. Delicious himself. Lo and behold, he's bigger than Mike, leaner than Mike. And he even has a better tan than Mike, which is next to impossible. But bro is a black natural athlete, just like C-Bum. And so I'm thinking, are you kidding me? This guy actually claims to be natural. And so I literally write Mike Thurston. I'm like, does bro actually claim to be natural? And so he writes me back, says, hey, do a video. In person, he looks crazy as well. It's hard to believe, but you never know. I don't know how thorough the testing is for the show. And so I discovered that he's actually entering a drug-tested bodybuilding competition. And so I'm thinking, how is this possible? Like, I'm convinced that there's no way this guy is natural. I'm looking at him the same way that you are and thinking, how is it possible? He actually looks better than Mike. And as you know, I don't even believe that Mike Thurston is natural. I'm not saying he's using tren, abusive doses and so on. I just thought Mike Thurston looks so good. I have a very hard time believing that he's natural. I mean, personally, I believe that perhaps he's on HRT or peptides and so on, but lifetime natty, I'm thinking there's no way. I said, well, I can't just make a video and do like everyone else. For example, Catabolic Twig and Philion, they use the eyeball test. They say, you're losing your credibility because can't you tell he's a fake natty just by looking at him? I mean, look at this guy. He's bigger than you. He probably beat you if you were on steroids in a bodybuilding competition. How is it possible? But here's the thing. There's this thing called genetics. Now, I'm not saying he's natural, haven't done the video yet. We don't know yet. But there's this thing called genetics, and if he has 1 in 100 million genetics, I mean, more rare than Hussein Farhat, perhaps even more rare than Julian. I don't know. But there's some people on this world, on this planet, that have way better genetics than you or I. Guys like C-Bum, Ronnie Coleman, Kai Green, and so on. I mean, did you guys see Kai Green in 1999, 100% natural? And I do believe it to be true. Did you see him going through his posing? Exquisite posing for a man with exquisite symmetry. He even had a small waist, looked like an amazing classic physique competitor. That's him at the IFBB Worlds. Remember the guy 5 years ago, I did a video, Quinton Irea. I said, world's best genetics. He was 100% natural at that time, and following that video, he went on performance-enhancing drugs, put on over 30 pounds of muscle in a year. Now, had Quinton remained natural and continued to train, would he in fact look like this guy, or perhaps, possibly even better? I do believe so. I think that the best athletes in the world, they choose to go on steroids far too young. Look at C-Bum. C-Bum was on steroids at 18 years of age. Had he chosen to remain natural and continue to train for 10 additional years, how do we know that C-Bum wouldn't look way better than this guy? Well, being natural. And so there lies the problem. We don't get to see what the best genetics in the world can look like through hard work for 10 or more years. And so I'm going to make this video and give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to just assume steroids. I mean, that is what I thought, but I'm going to go and look back, put in the work, and discover, is it possible? I mean, right now I'm thinking there's no way. I mean, he's better than Mike Thurston. He's leaner, more muscle. How could it be possible? And so until I'm proven otherwise, I gotta think that he's a fake natty. But let's humor him and find out. And so, big back workout. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, really? Like, look at this. I mean, catabolic twig and Fillion, I'm sure you're with me. There's no way you can look like this natural. Look, just standing there. I mean, it's incredible. I want to look like this. Every part of me wishes I could look like this. And so I clearly am jealous. Hey, I'm envious. I want to look like this. Should I make a video and say, hey, you're a fake natty because I want to look like you, because you look better than me, you have better genetics than me, perhaps you worked harder than me? Or should I not say, well, that is amazing, and I wish I could look like that. I'm going to train my ass off and try, but I can't automatically assume that you're lying. I mean, he says lifetime natural. Now, I'm sure that he knows that the people that accuse him of being a fake natty, that he takes it as a compliment. I mean, how could you not? Only he knows for certain if he's natural. We don't know. I mean, it's not like we've seen his blood work 100 times over. We're not his mom or his dad since childhood. We don't know everything about him, but he does. When people accuse him of being a fake natty, he has to be taking it as a compliment. And so if other people admire your physique and think there's no way that you're natural, I don't believe that you did it. You're lying. You have to take it as a compliment. Trust me, that's the only thing you can do. Are you kidding me? The front, the back, everything. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, the only muscle that I see that isn't developed stupendously would be his calves. But he must have a weakness in his quads. I mean, Hussein Farhat, yes, he had an amazing upper body, but he had a glaring weakness in his quads. And so Hussein, we perhaps believe that he's natural. I mean, he has in fact passed 2 blood work tests and had another surprise test by someone with more followers than Coach Greg. Those results will be out shortly. We had Hussein Farhat, then Julian, and what about Prosper Fitness? And so, let's see. Nope, legs, incredible. Outstanding. Thought his legs were going to be a weakness, saw his calves seem to have a little bit less muscle, but look at his quads. Feathering in the quads, the smallest of waists, amazing biceps, point to me the weakness. And remember, he's competing in a drug-tested bodybuilding competition, and I know what you're saying, and I understand this. Well, he had time to go off. He was on test, trend, you name it, and then cycled off and was able to beat the test. That is a very valid criticism, but here's the thing. He could, in fact, pass that test, but not the blood work. With blood work, you have to come off far sooner, because what happens is, if you're on testosterone, for example, it shuts down your production of LH and FSH. And so if you don't stop soon enough, it's not going to have enough time to come back. Or if you're using something like enclomiphene or HCG, you're going to see the discrepancy between LH and FSH. And you're going to see other markers. For example, your HDL is going to be tanked. You're going to see too much hemoglobin. And so you can tell in blood work damage that was done prior to this. Many people think, oh, you can just use steroids and have no long-term effect. Why do you guys think I'm on HRT right now? I've used steroids and it shut me down. My body couldn't produce testosterone normally ever again. And now Mike Israetel stated, for 13 years I used steroids, but if I ever decide to stop using steroids, my body will just bounce back to normal. No, it won't. I mean, there's a chance that it will, maybe a 10% chance, but most likely it's not going to be good. And so if you're thinking, you know what, I just want to use steroids for a year. I mean, this is what the young people are thinking. They're thinking Hussein Farhat, what he did was he joined the gym and used steroids for a year. He put on all of that muscle. Maybe it's 45 pounds. And then he got off of the steroids and just maintained. That is what people actually think that he did. Many people think this, even though that's not what happened. He's actually a lifetime natural, and you don't need to believe it. I mean, you're not as experienced nor as intelligent as I am in terms of knowing what's happening. And so if you're a 18, 19, 20-year-old kid and you're thinking that's what Hussein did, why would you think you know more than me? If I were you, I would put your faith in what I'm saying. And I'm saying Hussein didn't abuse steroids for a year or two and then stop and just main gain all those gains. That is not what happens. When you use steroids for a year or two, you make a massive amount of gains and then you lose some of them. You don't continue to progress. You don't even main gain. You know, oh, but he got smaller. I literally was with him in Los Angeles. He's the biggest ever. And so how is that possible? Use steroids for a year or two, make all those gains, get off of them, and then continue to make gains? If that were possible, hey, I would encourage you to do it. If steroids were that safe, you just use them a couple of years, you make all the gains you'd make in a lifetime, and then you go off them and you maintain. It's not what happens. If you choose to use steroids, expect to make hella gains and then likely to lose half of them. And so if you put on 40 or 50 pounds of muscle on steroids the first year or two with steroids, and then you stop, expect to lose 20 to 25 pounds of muscle. And on top of that, expect to experience erectile difficulty, brain fog, gynecomastia, the list goes on and on. And so if you go through his account, each photo is better than the last. Photo after photo, I'm thinking this guy's a fake natty. I am not going to downplay this. I think that it's next to impossible to look like this while being natural. I don't think that he simply has the correct angles, the proper photos. I don't think he's filtering his photos or Photoshop. I mean, we could get Goop to say, are these all filtered Photoshop photos? But I don't think so. I just see a guy that looks preposterously ridiculous. And so I'm thinking this is a fake natty. And so as of right now, I still think he's a fake natty. And so natty or not, he literally says, it says 100% natural. It says, when you're natty, but they still call you out, is it time to step on a natural bodybuilding show? And so just over 4 months ago, he's posting this. And in this photo, he's 100 kilograms. He's 220 pounds. He's looking thick, lean. I would say perhaps single-digit body fat, 10% roughly around there. Now, granted, he's clearly pumped here. He's got a great-looking chest, shoulders. He's sweating. He's got the glistening. He's doing the side chest. And so you see all the muscles. And so this is peak Prosper Fitness. He's at his best. Now, he says he's going to enter a natural bodybuilding competition. That gives him a point in his favor. When you enter a drug-tested bodybuilding show, there's a chance you're going to get tested. Now, it's not guaranteed. We've seen that with Hussein Farhat, but that's not his fault. There's a chance he's going to be drug-tested. And so if he fails that drug test with 882,000 followers, it's going to look bad. And his stock is going to fall in comparison. He could just not compete. Perhaps he could say, I'm competing in open bodybuilding in a regular competition. I want to challenge the best of the best because I'm natural, but I can beat guys on steroids. That actually would be a little suspicious. It'd be like, if you're entering a bodybuilding competition and it's not drug tested, why aren't you? If Will Tennyson had entered a non-tested competition and competed, people would have said, why is that, Will? Why aren't you competing in a drug-tested competition? We don't believe you. But he entered and was tested, and so you need to give him the benefit of the doubt. 64% of the nearly 5,000 people said fake natty, and so 2/3 of people are saying fake natty. 1/3 actually believe him. I'm shocked. I can't believe that 1/3 of his fans actually believe him. Even my fans don't believe that I'm natural. I would have thought with a physique like this, it would have been 95% of people would have said fake natty. And so he's doing something right because a lot of people actually believe him. 1 out of 3. But remember, 2 out of 3 say fake natty, which is 100% a compliment. What a great comment. Feel sorry for the competition. This is exactly what I used to say. Back in the day, I was competing. Remember, I was 100% natural. And I said, I'm feeling bad for the competition. People were asking, what's wrong, Greg? Did you get injured? Did you hurt? Is the diet going wrong? No, I'm feeling bad because I'm 100% natural and I'm going to win the overall. They couldn't stand it. You're so cocky. And so what did I do? I entered and won the competition. 100% natural. And so it's possible. Now, this guy has better genetics than Coach Greg. I had amazing genetics. I don't know what percentage, 1 in 10,000, 100, whatever. I achieved an IFBB Pro card. And so clearly I have very good genetics. If you look at me when I was younger, in my 20s, as young as this man, I do believe he's significantly better than I was. Me at my best, peak Greg, natural, I think gets his ass handed to him by this man. But is it not a little narcissistic to think that there was no one else that at my age had better genetics than me, that perhaps out-trained me, outworked me, simply had a better physique than me? And just so that you really appreciate this, 5'11", the weight cap for classic physique is 228 pounds. He's 24 pounds under the weight cap. This, in my opinion, is peak natural genetics. At least if he's natural, does it get any better? Classic physique, which is for the smaller guys, is still 24 pounds of muscle bigger than this. And trust me, he could still get leaner. If he had to suck it down 5 more pounds, you don't think he could lose 5 pounds of water? And so he's 24 pounds under the weight class, but I'm telling you, if he had to, he could make weight and be 30 pounds under. And so I keep telling the IFBB, why not install Classic Physique Light? For guys who, I don't know, they don't want to abuse performance-enhancing drugs, or perhaps they just want to use lower doses. Does this not look big enough for you? How many of you think you need to get bigger than this? This guy's phenomenal. This is what we should be striving for. Natural prime genetics with size, symmetry, definition, everything. As I scroll through these photos, I want you to understand that he's posting the best of his best photos. So maybe he takes 100 photos and posts that very best one. Now, if you caught him off guard, perhaps he's not flexing his stomach and he didn't have a pump, he wouldn't look as good as this. Not saying he wouldn't look good, but perhaps just not quite to this standard. And so that's another reason why you're thinking he's a fake natty, because look, when you're not pumped, like I'm not pumped right now. If I just stand up like this, I have muscle, but it's not going to be the same way I look when I'm in the gym. So many people that meet me for the first time, they're saying, you're so much bigger in person. And I'm thinking, well, I'm in the gym and I'm training chest, shoulders, triceps. I'm clearly pumped. And so obviously with the pump going and the veins protruding, I'm going to look significantly better. And so please remember that. And so I can understand why so many people would say fake natty, because even I'm still thinking fake natty. Here's the thing. I want you to understand this. He's currently 5'11" and about 204, 205 pounds, and he's shredded. Now, if he were standing next to Andrew Jacked or Samson Dota, these guys are a little bit taller than him, yes, but they're right around 300 pounds. They're close to 100 pounds bigger than him. Let's assume that he's natural. Let's just give him the benefit. Let's say natural. He's natural. Okay, now, he's in his 20s. What if he says, I want to be the best bodybuilder in the world, and he hires the best coaches of all time? I don't care who that is. They give him every drug possible. Steroids, SARMs, peptides, growth hormone, insulin, all of it. And he goes on steroids for 5, maybe even 10 years. I don't think he would be as big as Samson Dota. Might he beat him in bodybuilding? Maybe. It's possible. Might he be bigger than him? Maybe. But I still don't think that he would be that big. If he put on 50 pounds of muscle, which is a lot even with steroids, he would go from 204, 205 to 255. 5'11" and 255 pounds is massive, but there are still people on this earth bigger than that. And so is it not possible that this guy is natural, and that if he did take steroids, that he would become a Mr. Olympia competitor? Maybe not win, but be in the top 3, maybe even top 5. I think it's possible. And so if we reverse engineer this and we have Samson Dota or Andrew Jacked or Derek Lunsford, the list goes on, and they had never taken steroids, but they had continued to put in the work, how big would they be? Obviously, none of them would be the size they are right now, but is it possible that Samson Dota would compete at 245 pounds? That he would literally be competing in the Mr. Olympia in classic physique? I think it's possible. I think that we don't know just how good some of these guys would be without steroids, because most of them are encouraged to use steroids because they have incredible physiques. When you have an incredible physique, it's hard not to give in to the temptations. How do I know that? What do you think happened to me? I am perhaps one of the guys who stayed natural the longest in the entire world. I'm not trying to brag, but how many guys do you know competed 42 times natural? And following that, I said, you know what? I want an IFBB Pro card. I want to turn pro. I want to make this my career. I want to get sponsored. And so what do you think I did? I used steroids, then actually won the pro card and made it my career. And so it worked. The temptation was always there. Trust me, you don't think that I started thinking about using steroids even younger than when I started them? Of course I did. I was thinking, you know what? It would be so fun to be on steroids and beat that guy. I know that guy's on steroids, and I know if I were on them, I would beat him. I know that I would. I just need a little bit. I would beat him. I had to say no. And so long as I was making improvements, so long as I was getting better, I didn't need the steroids, because for me, bodybuilding, it was about the journey. I knew I'd be better with steroids, but I enjoyed the satisfaction, the knowledge that I was getting better drug-free. I had pride in that. But eventually, I couldn't get any better. I hit my natural genetic limit. Despite trying my best, I couldn't improve. And at that point, I said, you know what? I love bodybuilding so much. I want to keep getting better. I want to make this career. And I decided to use steroids. Hey, looking back, I regret it. This man, I was in his position. When I was his age, I was still natural. Is it possible that he does this competition, realizes how good he is, and then a couple of years from now says, you know what? I want to be an IP pro. That Greg guy, he was making sense. I know why he did it. Perhaps he will. Perhaps he won't. I hope he doesn't. I mean, think of it. When you look like this, you need steroids? It's ridiculous. Most people on steroids will never look this good. And so I certainly hope he'll continue to be natural and encourage others to do the same. But one thing that people who have amazing genetics, they have a hard time understanding is that not everyone has their genetics. And so even if they copy what he's doing, they follow the same diet, do the same training, they're very unlikely to look like this. And so I'm certain he understands how blessed and truly fortunate he really is. But I hope that he does understand that not everyone, and in fact, 99.9999% of people are not going to look like this, no matter how hard they train, while being 100% natural. But trust me, you don't need to be this big. Most women, they don't need men this big. And for the most part, it's men that like other men of this size. He could lose 20 pounds of muscle, and in my opinion, probably be even more attractive to the opposite sex. He could probably add 5 or 10 pounds of fat, and women would find him more attractive. Now, if you're a bikini competitor, bodybuilder, and so on, women, those women, they like it. But for the average woman, this is too much. And so is it possible that bro just hopped on Turk Builder Max or Turk Platinum? Guys, have you seen the new Turk Platinum? Even better than Turk Builder Max. And so I'm going to be using this. The packaging is stupendous. You perhaps can't see it at home. The boxes are better than last time. I'm going to be taking 3 tablets a day. Remember, you can get by on 1, 2, 3. Choose to do as many as you want. And of course, there's a money back guarantee and a $20 gift card. And so you can try it at no risk to yourself. If it doesn't give you the results that you're expecting, I don't care what you expect it to do. If you expected to put on 10 pounds of muscle and you put on 9 and you're not happy, then you get your money back. If you expect it to give you so much energy and train harder than last time and recover, and it didn't do that, your money back. Whatever you're expecting, if it doesn't live up to the expectation or the hype and you don't think that you want to buy it again over and over again, you get your money back. Here's the thing. I've checked with my accountants and they've never seen in their life this many people rebuying it. They're saying if your supplements are this good, all you need are for new people to come and try it. Once they try it, they then going to keep buying it. That's how it works. And so, guys, if you haven't tried it yet, give it a try. You can say to the world, hey, I tried his Turkesterone, it didn't live up to the hype. I didn't want it, and so I got my money back. How bad is that? In comparison, I tried it and it's amazing and I keep buying it again. That is what we're getting. And so if you're interested, click the link in the description, code Greg, 15% off. And so I contacted him as I wanted to see what he says. And I'm going to be honest, and this is what I thought was going to happen. I thought he was going to leave me unread. I did not think he was going to respond. I thought, yeah, why would he want to deal with this? Coach Greg is writing him, and this is what I wrote. I see it says you're natural. Are you willing to get blood work done, as I'd like to do a video on it? I'm thinking he's leaving me unread. I'm thinking, if bro is not Natty, why would he respond to me? It's so much easier to just say, I didn't see the message. I don't know. Like, that would be the easy way out. But that's not what happened. He wrote, hey bro, yeah, I'll be competing in a natural bodybuilding show this weekend. He's actually competing in a natural show already. My 99.9% certainty that he was a fake Natty, it's down to 95%. I'm thinking, Man, he wrote me back and he's doing a natural show. It's possible. I still think he's a fake Natty at some point. I mean, not lifetime Natty. Perhaps natural for this show. I can't imagine your Natty looking as you do, but if blood work comes back clean, you're 1 in 10 million at least. I'm certain you could get your IFBB Pro Classic Physique card. And so he responds, I'm not sure if they do blood work. I think they're doing a urine test, bro. I don't mind getting blood work done as well. And I'm good if you want to do a video on it. I said, yes, get the blood work done. I'll back you up as Natty if you have the blood work. And so he responds, yeah, I'll get the blood work done too. And so he states, my height is 5'11" and he's 92 kilograms, but he normally sits at 100 kilograms in the off season. Now, when you're in the off season, you're going to be a little bit heavier, perhaps closer to 10%. But when you diet down to get leaner, you're obviously going to lose some body fat. You lose glycogen stores, you lose water, you lose body fat. And so he's reduced it to 92 kilograms. That's only 8 kilograms. And so the first thing I'm thinking is, well, if he's doing a drug-tested bodybuilding competition, he would have to cycle off. If he is, in fact, a fake Natty, he would be using steroids and he would have to stop. And when you stop using steroids, you're going to lose a lot of muscle. Trust me, it's not easy to maintain all that muscle when you're off. To pass a drug test, that is hard. You're going to lose some muscle. But what you need to know is blood work, it's even harder to pass. It's one thing to pass a drug test, but it's even harder to pass blood work. And so he's getting his blood work done on top of this. If the blood work comes back that he's a fake Natty, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to expose him. But if the blood work comes back that he's natural, I, of course, am going to back him up. That's how this works. And so here's the difference between this man and other fake Natties. When I asked Mike O'Hearn to show me the blood work, his response, there is no response. He never does it, despite repeatedly asking him to. If Mike O'Hearn were actually natural, why wouldn't he just say, here's my blood work? Why wouldn't he post it on his channel? That would get views, that would get clicks, and more people would believe him, but he doesn't. And why? Because he's a fake Natty. I mean, think of it. Does that not make sense? And so I said, hey, I want to look back at your genetics. Can you show me some old photos? And so he was very quick to oblige. He's very polite. He's not mad at me for trying to do this. He's simply giving me the specs. And so he showed me a photo from the front. In the white shirt here, you can see age 17, 5'11", 168 pounds. It's not bad. He's 5'11", 166. Hussein Farhat was 5'11" and a half and competed at 166 pounds on stage. This guy, he looks very, very lean. This is without working out. This is his starting point. He's very lean. But I do believe he's too lean. If he were eating more calories, more protein, he would have more muscle. And on top of that, imagine if bro had been training. Imagine he'd been training since he was 10. I started training when I was 10. And so by the time I was 17, I had more muscle than this, but I was not nearly as lean. Age 18, a few months into lifting. Does this not remind you of Quinton Irea? He's 18 years of age and he's lifted for a few months. Look at the biceps. Look at the abdominals. Look how lean he is. His chest isn't full, but that's because he's not eating enough calories. He's very lean, and so he hasn't put on all of that size. This is in months. When you look like this, your genetics are already redonkulous. It doesn't even make any sense. And on to age 19, where he actually ends up competing, this is stupendous. And so if you said, this is my 1-year transformation with steroids, I would be impressed. But remember, the 1 in a millions and so on, while being natural, they're going to put on more muscle than most people, even with steroids. And so it's possible that he did this natural. And notice, he doesn't have gynecomastia. He doesn't have acne. The skin looks good. He doesn't have any signs of performance-enhancing drugs, aside from the fact that he has a lot of muscle. I mean, that is, of course, the main side of using steroids, but he looks natty. After my first bulk, aged 19, weighed 88 kilograms. This is about 193 pounds. After his bulk, it looks like most people after their cut. He bulks up to what, 10, 11, 12% body fat? But remember what I stated prior. I believe he wasn't eating enough calories. He was staying too lean. When you're a 6, 7% body fat as a teenager, you're not having enough nutrients to grow. And so after his first bulk, that is where his genetics truly were able to shine. He gave his body the calories that he needed, And now he's putting on all that muscle. Had he been eating properly when he was younger, 14 and so on, and had he been training that young, imagine if he'd been training since 10. By age 19, he would have probably already been a pro. It would have been ridiculous, but he waited till he was older, and so he was able to get all those gains in just 1 year. Age 14, let's rewind time a little bit here. Prosper just playing around in the gym after football practice, and so although he didn't weightlift religiously, he had toyed around within the gym. I mean, what 14, 15-year-old doesn't play with weights occasionally? And so he would have been playing football, basketball, and so on. And perhaps he just shows up to the gym. The coach said, hey, let's go to the gym once in a while. I mean, I did that with my athletes when I was coaching them. We'd go to the gym and train. I wouldn't call them all weightlifters, but they might have done a few sets. And so look at his bicep. I mean, this is 14. This isn't 17. This is 14 years of age. That would put him now 28 years of age. And so half a lifetime ago, look at his starting point. Have you ever seen arms like that on somebody who's 14? Maybe Julian, perhaps? This is crazy. He's shredded. He's single-digit body fat and has arms looking like that. And so if you take a guy who's 14 and looks like this and then train them natural for 14 years, don't you expect them to look like the way that he does now? And so the only difference I'm seeing is that most people with these kind of genetics, they use steroids far younger. You're 19 looking like that and you're thinking, you know what? I want to be the next C-Bum. I want to be the next Sam Sulek. And so you hop on steroids right away. But those who really like bodybuilding, those who care about their health, they wait. And so Prosper Fitness is saying, look, why would I use steroids? Check out his physique. Check out his genetics. Is it possible that he's actually natural? I mean, it started off at 99.9% sure that he's not. It went down to 95%, and perhaps now it's 50-50. I mean, I'm thinking legitimately he might actually be natural. After my first show, age 19, Spring Classic 2015 Men's Physique. I mean, I'm thinking he won this competition. Look at the way he looks. It's absolutely amazing. Age 20, yet again in the tank top, adding a little bit more water to his body, bulked up a little bit, putting on more size. And by age 22, you can see he's progressing. But these are when you make the most amount of your gains. When you're younger, when you first start training, starting at 17, he's been training for perhaps 5 years. He clearly had a lot of muscle and he continued to train to this day 6 additional years. And so what I noticed right away, very wide shoulders, massive arms, vascularity, great looking chest, and a very small waist. You can't see his legs, but in the future we do. His legs are not a weakness. Age 21, bulking, and remember, is he bulking to 20% body fat or is he bulking to 12? I mean, you don't need to bulk up and get fat to put on muscle. If you do those dreamer bulks, you get more fat cells. It makes it even harder to lose weight. And so I discourage this. To me, if you're a bodybuilder, anything beyond 15% body fat, it's just a waste of time. I don't think you need to bulk to that extent to put on muscle. And so he's doing an excellent job. I sent him a list of everything I'd like to have him have tested. Thanks for the message. I can do all those markers, no problem. Just for the bloods and draw, it's 200 or 235 pounds. I think it's something like that. It's not really all that expensive. And so if you're trying to prove that you're natural, this guy has close to 1 million followers. I would say perhaps he's a millionaire. I don't know his finances, but I certainly think that if you're coaching clients and that if your shtick or your scheme is to be a natural coach, then why not prove that you're natural or at least try? I mean, you don't have to. You have the right to be private and so on. But if you post that you're natural, expect to be criticized when you don't look natural. He doesn't look natural. But is he? He has the opportunity to try to show the world that he is natural. Remember, 2/3 believe he's a fake natty and 1/3 believe that he's telling the truth. And so with 8 billion people on this planet, there are going to be some outliers, some people with stupendous genetics. This, I believe, is one of them. This is not something I cooked up behind the scenes. I don't have plans of making him part of HDLT supplements. I'm not giving him equity in the company. He's not even sponsored. It's just me doing a video to teach people that some people have better genetics than you and that blood work is actually very good data in order to determine if somebody is a fake natty or not. Is it possible to use steroids when he was 17, 18, 19? The blood work isn't going to show it. It's possible. But remember, he didn't have notice. And so if he was using something, enclomiphene, HCG, if he's done something recently, it's going to detect it. It would affect the blood work. I will see. You know that I can see these things. Who else is doing this? You're going to ask Derek to do a natty or not on him? You're going to ask the catabolic twig? You can ask Philion? They don't know what blood work is. They're just going to say, oh, Coach Greg is saying this because he wants people to believe that Hussein is natural. Oh, he lied for Hussein because he's part of the company. I did the video on Hussein months before he was part of it. It was not part of the plan. Guys, this is ridiculous. And so he says he just played sports between 14 and 18. Sometimes they had to go to the gym for strength training with the team, but he essentially just did track and field, 100 meters, 110 hurdles, football, basketball, and rugby. Once he tore his ACL in his left knee, he couldn't play the sports. He decided to lift weights, and that's when he got addicted. This is very common. Athletes, they get injured and they don't have anything to do. They need an outlet and they go to the gym and lift weights. And some of those athletes, remember, 100-meter dash, those athletes, fast twitch muscle fibers, they're very likely to put on more muscle. And so he says, I'm willing to get blood work every week if someone wants to pay for it. And so he's paying for this first test because he wants to show that he's natural. But after that, if you want to doubt him, and if you're one of the, let's call it 20% of people that I think are not going to believe him, then why not pay for a drug test and prove him wrong? How amazing would that be? You get to out him. And so if he refuses the test, hey, I'll make a video. He refuses blood work. Proof that he's a fake natty. It's very easy to tell. If you suddenly refuse to get the blood work done for any reason, I just don't want. No. The reason you don't want to is because you know you're going to fail. So if he does that, we'll know he's a fake natty. But until then, it's only fair to give him the benefit of the doubt. And so he's getting his blood work done. He posted a video. He's drawing his blood. It's not fake. It's not make-believe. It's not AI. And so when the blood work comes in, expect another video. And so he's competing on July 5th and again July 26th to try to get his pro card. If he had to stop taking steroids, he's going to lose so much muscle from the 5th to the 26th, you're going to clearly be able to see it. And so if you see his physique regress, loses a lot of his muscle, you're going to know he probably went off. And in that case, he might pass the drug test because it would clear it out of his system, but he won't pass the blood work. And so throughout the years, he sent me a history of his weight as well as the years. For example, he was as light as 82 kilograms in 2014. That's 11 years ago, up to a maximum of 100 kilograms in 2018. And so he hasn't gotten bigger than 100 kilograms. He started the cut at 100 kilograms. And so I feel like he's natural. And so for this video, for the sake of the video, I'm saying natural until proven otherwise. And I'm telling you, I went into this video thinking there's no way he's natural. The world wants me to say he's a fake natty. The video sounds better if he's a fake natty. You like it more when I call people out, but yet I'm saying he's natural. And so the reason for that is because I have integrity. I'm not going to be like the catabolic twig or Philion and just say what you want to hear. I know you want me to say he's a fake natty. I know that he doesn't pass the eyeball test, but I also know that if he passes blood work, scientifically, I have to say he's natural. Does this not at least encourage you to maybe believe, to think it's possible? I know you don't have to necessarily say, yeah, it proves anything, but you not think maybe it's possible. Guys, you may not have the genetics of this guy, but if you want to get better, to do your best. Turk Builder Max and Turk Platinum. Pick your choice. Pick the one that you want. Guys, I highly suggest you try it. Remember, you can try it risk-free, money-back guarantee. And if you want to boost your testosterone, we also have G-Test Platinum. You're eating too much, can't control your cravings. GLP Max. We got the supplement for you, from G-Shred to the GLPs to Harder Than Last Time to getting Blue Lobster, Janicki mode, Hussein mode. We got everything. I can't even show you all the amazing supplements here. It's ridiculous. The best company in the world. And so if you're interested in any of these supplements, get to the website. And if you don't want supplements, you can, of course, get the cookbook. Of course, you want that. Everyone loves the Sharkmuta lobster crab, as well as the lobster crab, the blue lobster. They're making babies. They're making the best pre-workout with salidroside. Look it up. You want the best ingredients in the world. Look for HTLT Supplements, the company you can trust. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those two loops. And of course, for coaching, the prices have been reduced. You can apply by clicking the link in the description. And until next time, I am out.